Today we are going to take a look at another brand new 360 camera, the TE720 by Teche. Right here, this is a prosumer level camera, features 15K 360-degree photos. By the way, this is a true sensor level 15K as each lens captures 4.6K photos. And it also does 8K mono 360 videos. The most unique feature of this camera that is different from all the other popular 360 cameras is it uses 7 ultra-wide angle lenses instead of fisheye lens to capture 360 with minimal distortion in post-stitching and produce a very sharp image, even on the edges around the stitch line area right here. And also minimize chromatic aberration generated by fisheye lens. It has an internal SSD with 448GB massive storage built in. The build quality of this camera is also very impressive with a full metal body, and this is the first look of this camera. Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Hugh here from Creator. So before I show you this camera, I want to thank Veer to give me the special opportunity to share my knowledge with the Chinese 360 VR creators in Beijing during the Veer Creator Summit. The Chinese are hungry for 360 contents. If you want more view of your VR content, don't forget to also upload it on Veer so you can reach a larger audience on multiple headsets. Well, let's back to the camera. This is another product of this growing demands on 360 content creation inside China. Teche or Teche or whatever you want to pronounce it has actually been around for 4 years, and this is their 4th generation VR camera. Before, Teche mostly do business-to-business 360 camera for industry use. Again, it does not mean this camera will be good for consumer like me and you. So let's find out. The most standout feature is it can capture sensor level 15K high resolution 360 photos. It is only mono, but still is the first one-body 360 camera that can capture such a high resolution. Not only with such a high resolution, it can also retain a high definition or sharpness of the image thanks to using the wide angle lenses instead of fisheye lens. So just to be clear, GoPro Omni or GoPro Odyssey also use wide angle lens instead of the fisheye. It had its advantage but also its disadvantage. I will show you in the stitching part using ptgui and Mystical VR later. Another unique feature, and that is probably why I will choose this camera, is the dedicated top right here and bottom right here camera. So if you do a lot of drone work or aerial 360 shot with the DJI M600 and professional camera like the Zcam S1, the Candle Obsidian or the Insta360 Pro, you will notice in post-stitching there is always something wrong with the zenith, I don't know how to pronounce it, the top of the camera basically. Even you can fix that in post with Mystical VR. The zenith is not as sharp as the rest of the scene. Think about it. When you hang the camera upside down, the most important part of the footage is the ground. So you need a dedicated top camera to capture this. And only Nokia Ozo, Samsung Round, Halo or the Zcam V1 Pro have an extra top camera, but you will never hang any of those cameras on your drone because they are very heavy, and also none of those cameras has internal stabilization. The TE720 has built-in 9-axis stabilization, just like the brand new Insta260 Pro 2. With stabilization and a dedicated top mount camera, this becomes a real beast in the sky. It is not a stereo camera, unfortunately, but really, why you need a stereo camera if you're already up high in the sky? Another small thing that only people have done drone removal in post-production know, to replace your big drone with the top mount GoPro as a clean play is a lot easier if the footage does not have the fisheye distortion. That is why the bottom camera right here, see right here, is also a great feature to have. Another feature that is really smart of this camera is all lenses support 52mm round photo filter, and it comes with 7 UV protective filters already. So how many times outside under the strong sun you want an ND filter like this one of your camera? Look at this drone footage I shot with the Insta260 Pro. The sunspot is all blown out. I can fix it now with an ND filter with this camera. And here's how easy to change the filters. You can just unscrew it. Just screw it in. You can just unscrew it like that. And you can replace it with any filter you want. Like so. Easy, easy peasy. Another impressive build feature are the full metal aviation aluminum alloy body with the heat dissipation capacity. And it's no heat sink design, just like the Candle Obsidian or the Zcam. So no fans or no fan noise. The Teche claimed the camera can work in extreme condition with dustproof and splashproof design. So Burning Man? Yes. Did die in the ocean? No.
I can swim.
There is a built-in battery that it can do a continuous filming for 75 minutes. But the cool thing is, it comes with an external portable battery. This little metal box right here. You can keep the camera continue film for another 150 minutes. It's made with metal. With the internal 448GB SSD storage, this thing can practically run all days. Also, pay attention to the detail of the design of right here. Look at the connector between the battery unit and the camera itself. It has a secure metal ring to make sure the connector is tight. See, it's really tight. How many times I need to duct tape the power cable and the Ethernet cable onto the Insta260 Pro or the Obsidian, just to find out later the PA or the intern step on the power cable and then plug the camera entirely. This extra detail to attention in the design really help the DP to focus what they do best, which is drinking their coffee, making fun of the sound guy, and talking to cute girls or cute guys.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Just kidding, that's just me. If you notice, there is an antenna right here to extend the signal so I can control the camera in a pretty far away distance with a specially made remote control right here. You are not using your phone, by the way, guys. No one knows if you are checking your Facebook or Instagram or you are actually working. With the dedicated remote control, no more screwing around behind the director's back. Okay, so now we know all the good things about this camera. What about some bad thing? Well, it is not a stereo 3D 260 camera, and it's too simple to use. The camera uses a specially designed exposure system and auto-expose each lens individually based on the lighting environment. But it does not allow you to adjust exposure manually by lens like the Candle Obsidian. You don't really have much control, especially in video. To adjust exposure, you need to rely on the physical ND filter right here, as you see, which does not come with the camera. Well, luckily, they are very cheap because they are standard of their Canon 50mm. so you can really easy to find them on eBay. The camera design is a little bit funky, as you see right here, because the bottom lens is getting out. It comes with a needle metal pipe right here, as you see. But the center of the gravity of this camera is pointing forward, like right now. So if you are using a monopod, make sure you have a really steady leg and use a sandbag as a counterweight for extra stabilization. The software at this time of recording is only in Chinese. I can read that, but you probably cannot. So I have to rely on Mistika VR, ptgui, or Auto Panel to stitch. If you have Mistika VR, the stitching is pretty straightforward for this camera. My unit actually have some minor off-sync issue, so I will recommend it actually right here using audio sync to just in case to make sure everything is synced together. As you see, my footage have actually one frame off sync in the top and bottom camera. Teche provides you a ptgui template for their 15K photos and 8K videos. I would suggest using ptgui for photo stitching because the quality just super nice directly from ptgui. Again, I will review their software when it's translated into English. But right now, their biggest weak point is without software support. For video, let me just show you how easy to stitch with Mistika. So go ahead and drop all 7 video footage from 7 lenses into Mistika VR right here, like so. And you can go ahead and hit continue. And then they provided a ptgui video template you can drop in directly in here to help you stitch. I also provide my personal template I work on, so you can also use that to help you even easier to finish the stitching. So go ahead, right here, load preset, go find the preset you download from the description and hit open. So let's turn off the VR mode. And as you see, everything is stitched already. If you turn on VR mode, and it looks really nice. So if for a particular footage, they have some stitching issue, again, I already turned off optical flow, but if you see some offset issue, you need to fix that. Go ahead, under position, go ahead and say improve offset and improve angle until you see the correct result, and then you can final step turn on optical flow. We usually fix everything and your footage will look great. As you see, this stitch is actually really good even in all this vertical line and still doing a pretty amazing job. So there's a great amount of coverage between all those lenses. One thing though, this camera, again, as I mentioned, don't have the menu feature. So all the lenses, if I turn this off, does have a different exposure based on the environment. So again, my front lens actually don't have an ND filter, which I should have, so the sun is really blown out. But as you see, this session is actually darker because facing the sun, the camera just dropped the exposure here. So if you have like not even color temperature right here, you can always just turn on Mistika color, match color in time, and just go ahead and match everything in time. As you see now, you just match everything in time. But again, the sun is heavily blow out if I do that, so that's why we recommended using an ND filter whenever the lens is facing the sun. And from here, after this is done, you can go ahead and just go on render and go ahead and render whatever format you need and continue that in Premiere. So with their own software, it will be even easier. Also, the stabilization does require their software to work, so there is that. I will make a follow-up stitching tutorial when their software is translated, but this part is just a good way to refresh your Mistika skill, since now color AVP is gone. During testing, I also found out there is a minimal focal distance of this camera. So even in mono, you cannot go too close to the lens. It will be out of focus. As you can see, the resolution chart and the color chart went out of focus when I close to the lens. As I know, Candle Obsidian can go way closer than that if it is in mono. So close distance 360 is not a strong point of this camera. Plus the same issue of stitching distance of wide angle lens, just like GoPro Omni and GoPro Odyssey, I would suggest using this camera for medium or far distance VR shoot instead of indoor close-up narrative shoot. Thank you for watching this first look of the brand new Teche TE720 camera. A full review with example footage and post-production tutorials is coming next. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for the full review of this camera and many other professional 360 VR cameras. If you like this video, it will make me very happy if you can give me a thumb up. If you have a question about this camera and have any requests on my full review of this camera, like what you want me to focus on, a test on, comment below. And I will see you next time.